the banks are financing this worldwide as kind of a way of they want to worldwide shut everything down during the economic implosion they're engineering in the fall, that they're going to use this to clamp down. And I said that in January. Then in April, the flu popped up. We said regular flu kills over 36,000 people every year. Why are they fear-mongering over a few deaths? Now it's over 500. Why did it come out in the wrong year, wrong time of year, wrong hemisphere? Why? I had a virologist on. It was in BBC News saying it's a manufactured flu. We can look at its pedigree and tell it just came out of nowhere. It's been engineered, part human, part bird, part pig. And so the question is it just engineered hype to get federalization in place as a cover without a bunch of death and forced inoculations? Or is it a cover just to sell a bunch of vaccines? Or are they really planning? Do they know it's going to mutate into something more deadly? Vaccine trials in Europe have killed a bunch of people with different flu vaccines in the last year, namely bird flu. There's internal CDC reports that have come out admitting that this could cause that Guillain-Barré's disorder and nerve degeneration and even death, that happened in 1976 with the same type of swine flu that popped up at a military base after inoculations. But people don't seem to be buying this. Remember back in 2002, they tried the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, tried to order all first responders, nurses, doctors, police, firemen, 14 million total, the LA Times reported, to take these inoculations. And for smallpox. But then Tommy Thompson wouldn't even take it, so the whole thing fell apart. So they keep trying this, but usually when it's just a hyped thing they're doing, they don't build up all these assets. And so I think it's an ace in the hole for them to release something else if they want. I mean, you know, we know it's staged, but at a certain point then, we know what they're saying is a lie. We know it's staged, but we don't know what their exact playbook is.
Or exactly when. If I could interject too, one thing I really appreciate about you, Alex, is your personal research. I am sure you have a team, but you have these facts right at your fingertips. And I think it's great on a variety of subjects that correlate. And the second point, I really appreciate that about you and your program. Second thing I wanted to say was that I get asked, I was just asked the other day, maybe 9/11 was inside job. I mean, maybe the government knew about it or let it happen, but what difference does it make, really? I mean, it's over with. It's past. It's 8 years ago. And I say, look, these same people, the puppeteers there, if you get the big picture, it's not over. And the sooner we wake up, the sooner we can do something to change our republic, to have this renaissance that we need to clean up these guys, if we possibly can at this late date, and stop them. It's not going to stop just by burying our heads in the sand and saying,
Exactly. I mean, every time I think about getting set up, getting put in prison, getting killed, and I'm not trying to get sympathy here, folks. I mean, it's I don't even tell you a tenth of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but I live in like a James Bond movie, but I'm not James Bond. I'm just an average guy. And whenever it's overwhelming, or I wake up at 3 a.m., like not even fear, but more just gripped by the enormity, I think about my children, but other people's children. And you're right. These sickos that did this are going to continue to stage events. They're going to continue to do wicked things. It wasn't George Bush that did this. It was the National Security Council. It was the private corporate takeover above them. The CFR wrote manuals how they needed big catalyzing terror events, and Cheney did.
Right.
And I'm in this. When I got involved 14 years ago, I had no idea how deep it was, how bad it was. I was naive. I was just standing up for the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And now I realize I'm point of no return. I can't go back. But plus, none of us can go back. Even if people live in denial and say this isn't happening, you can't go back. You can't go back once you know the truth. And
That's right. Yeah, I felt the same way. When I learned about this, it was actually spring of 2005 when I first saw World Trade Center 7 coming down. And the way it came down, I pulled out my stopwatch, and I was reading and analyzing. And, man, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And then, I'm reading this, what was the name? PNAC report that came out in, it came out just about a year.
September 20th, 2000, Rebuilding America's Defenses.
Right. So just 1 year before 9/11, 2001, and I think, man, these guys are talking about American empire. And they're not even, hiding it. They want hegemony, domination using United States military power.
And they say we've got to have a Pearl Harbor-style event to do it. Pearl Harbor killed 3,000. 9/11 killed right at 3,000.
Yeah. And so anyway, it hit me, and a lot of my family now have awakened to this situation, awful situation, really. But there's some things we feel that we are doing. It's not totally pessimistic, is it? We're people like you and I are speaking out, doing what we can, and then I always like to encourage people to get food storage, and I'm sure glad I bought some gold and silver a few years ago. Gold just went over $1,000 an ounce. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did. We told people to buy it when it was $300. I mean, but we're not perfect. We try. I mean, I buy gold. I've got guns. I've got food. I'm not looking for trouble. I just know. In fact, when you leave us in the final segment, I'm going to hit the news where top economists are in major news saying the dollar will probably die in the next 2 years. We will probably be like Argentina. I'm not the one saying that, but we knew years ago they were planning it. Professor, I'd like to have you back sometime just on your political beliefs and ideas, because I found this very refreshing discussing it with you. Okay. Fire out the websites for folks. Okay,
websites. Let me start with Journal of 911Studies.com, and that has over 100 peer-reviewed papers, and then plus it links to our 3 major papers in it.
We're almost out of time. Fire out the other.
Oh, boy. STJ 911, AE911truth.org.
Professor?
One more thing, quick, Alex. We're starting up a scientist for 9/11 Truth. But that should be out here next week, I hope.
Awesome. God bless you.